Empire cannot win. It's a different kind of mission. If it goes up in flames, it will burn very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win. We have to. We must stand together. We will be crushed.
Resistance is absurd.
It's a weapon. They're building a weapon. The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the saying. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
There's a future here for those who dare.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Hello there, Kyle Katine here. Welcome back to the final hype chamber of Andor Season 2. Episodes 10 through 12 are going to come out in just over 30 minutes here. And I see, you know what? I see this comment right here. I couldn't agree more, man. I'm ready, but I'm not. I'm not ready. It's kind of crazy. It's been such a crazy ride through this show. We've had some of the probably the most amazing moments we've ever had in Star Wars TV. Definitely the best monologues, I think, bar none. And I'm just gonna be sad when it's over. You know, I'm definitely gonna rewatch Rogue One with all of this added context, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna totally change the emotional beats of that movie. At least for me, it definitely is going to. Hello there. How's it going? I'm like, yeah, this is probably the first time approaching a Star Wars finale where I've been like equal parts like nervous and excited. It's a different feeling. It's a different kind of experience for this show, you know. I feel like we're watching it differently. I feel like my connection's my camera's kind of laggy. I don't know what's going on there. Welcome to the rebellion. Hell yes. So I watched the Q&A this morning, the live Q&A with Tony Gilroy, Diego Luna, and a bunch of the cast. And one thing that Elizabeth, who plays Clea, said is that if you're a fan of Clea, you're going to really like what happens in episode 10. Now, I haven't seen any of this yet, but that makes me very intrigued because I do really like Clea. She's one of my favorite characters, actually. Let's gonking go. Let's get it. What the gonk. What a ride it has been. See, we're out here sounding like a high school yearbook, but you know what? It's true. It's true. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're all different kinds of fans now than we were when this show started. I'm actually really excited about it, and I'm glad you brought that up because I haven't had a chance to really like talk about that at all. But like, we're about to get Hondo Ohnaka. He's coming back, and it's Jim Cummings too. So it's like OG Hondo in a playable story in Outlaws. Like, yeah, I can't wait to stream it. I'm going to be streaming it as soon as it drops on Twitch. Oh man, it was a matter of time. It was a matter of time. The show must go on, as they say. I hope that's not a bad omen about something bad happening to Cassian in the future, because that would just be spooky. Honestly, I definitely recommend it, dude. Star Wars Outlaws is great. Come on. Oh no. Oh no. Yep, there it goes. That was a reenactment of the ending of Rogue One for you there. You're welcome. I don't know how he got in here, but he did it. He's got to be to blame for this, right? Actually, I feel like this is the best place to announce it too. Bendu and I are going to do a reaction to Rogue One, and it's going to come out the week after the 10, 11, 12 episode reactions come out. With our thoughts, you know, recontextualized with Andor season 1 and 2. Really looking forward to sitting down and doing that. So yeah, that'll be coming soon. In terms of predictions, like I have a lot of the same predictions that I had last time too. Like Luthen's done for. There's no way. Clea, I hope she survives. Again, like I was saying, I have questions about how she, like what she's up to during the events of Rogue One and A New Hope that we don't see her. You know, she also seems like a pretty crucial player here. So like she'd be involved if she was able to be. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think about. Like Luthen not making it out. Clea, fingers crossed for her. But like as a like writings on the wall here, I guess Star Wars, it's not like they've never just invented a new place for someone to be in an existing timeline. Like they could still do that and explain it in a comic or something. But I don't want to consider it, but I feel like I'm about to be brought face to face with that reality, whether I like it or not. Bix, I think, like, and I feel nervous even saying it, but I think we can officially say that she's safe because she left. And like, so if we don't even see Bix for these next 3 episodes, that's a win because that means she made it through the show. If Bix comes back into the fold, then I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous if she comes back. So hopefully she stays gone and stays alive. You know, that's what I would prefer. This is a pretty solid theory actually, and I was thinking something along the same lines. Wait. Dedra kills Lufthansa, the German airline. Clea kills Dedra, and Cassian Evans Clea. Okay. I really enjoyed Cassian Evans Clea's performance in Westworld. Very good. But no, I completely agree. I think that's exactly how it's going to go down. If I'm translating that correctly, Dedra's going to find Luthen. Dedra kills Luthen. Clea then kills Dedra, and then Cassian takes out. Well, why would Cassian kill Clea? That doesn't make sense. Either way, I think you're totally right that Dedra is going to track down Lufthansa in these 3 episodes. And that one line from his monologue just keeps coming back to me too, where he said like he burns his life for a sunrise he knows he'll never see. And I think that we're going to get that, like that's going to become literal, and like he's going to die in some sort of a fire related scenario. Either he's going to light something on fire, he's going to blow something up and take a bunch of people with him. Like, but I would, I would bet on a fire related scenario for Luthen. Just throwing that out there. Oh, my boy Lenny. Talking about Lonnie. Yeah, no, Lonnie. I'm really nervous for Lonnie. He is in the most like stressful position of all of the rebel operatives we've got in the show, in my opinion, because he's around people who find people like him for a living constantly. You know, like one mistake and it's over. And that's like, I don't know how he does it, man. But I don't see a way out for him at this point, because he, like, if he tries to leave, like, he can't leave the Empire after this. He can't just like ditch his cover and like flee, because then they'll know he was implicated in it, and then he becomes a fugitive. And if he stays, now he's stuck in the ISB. So like it's a lose-lose for him. And I know people have been joking that like maybe he survives all this and gets promoted to a fancy new position on the Death Star, like, and that would suck. But actually, that's what I think is going to happen to Major Partagas. I don't think he's going to get a comeuppance in this show. He's going to get away with it scot-free, and he'll get promoted, and he'll be on the Death Star when it blows up. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Someone's got to take him down, but I don't think it's going to work that way. Not before Rogue One, you know. That's too big of a hit. And the Battle of Scarif still has to be considered the rebellion's first victory. So, like, we have to temper our expectations to how much they can really achieve in this show, you know. Oh, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we get a dynamic between Melshi and K2SO and Cassian. And I said it last time in the reaction too. I am a little bit annoyed that like they brought K2SO at the very end of that arc, because there's a year time jump between each arc, and I really wanted to see them getting to know each other, like that initial part of the relationship. And now they're going to skip over it because we're going to go a year later and they're going to be fast friends and like already have like they're totally simpatico. I want to see them forming that. Like that's the part of their relationship that's really interesting to me, because them being in lockstep and like doing missions, like we've already seen that. We got that in Rogue One. We're just going to get more of that if they were a year in. But I would be very interested in them like having to figure each other out. Like, that's the part that is interesting to me. What do you think of the idea that Galen Erso caused the Gorman incident because he selected a rare ore for the rare? Damn. It's not impossible. Yeah, because of course it's not like some imperial suit was like, this rock is the answer. No, of course it was a scientist. It was part of the science division working in one of the labs. It really could have been Galen Erso. But it also could have been one of the guys that was standing next to Galen Erso on Edu that all got shot because of Galen's mistake. Like, it could have been one of them too. Either way, that's all bad. That's all bad vibes, man. Thank you for making me think about that. It's so complicated. It like, because yeah, he's the guy that built the Death Star, you know, and in those ways he is justifiably responsible for the atrocities committed by it. But he also built it under duress. So it's like the whole thing is so complicated. Same. But like, honestly though, wouldn't that be a little bit of mud in your eye if they decanonize the currently existing Cassian and K2SO comic that tells their origin story that's now been replaced by the events of episode 9. And if they then released like an Andor comic that just like replaced it for like in comic form of all places, like in my house, like that would be really funny if they did that. But I bet you a very specific group of nerds would be very angry if they did that. I, for one, want that story. I just want it answered in whatever medium. Just tell me the lore. I need to know. So was I. Even though the more I thought about it, I don't think it fully made sense. Like, their personalities are a little too different. If K2SO had the stutter or something, like, then I'd be like, oh yeah, totally. But I'm worried about, like, it's been years at this point, right? It's been at least 3 years since they left Mina Rao, and B2 is still there as far as we know. Maybe Bix picked him up, right? Because she left Yavin. We don't know where she went. I'm just going to headcanon that she went to Mina Rao and picked up B2, and they went on their way. Or she went to go pick him up, and he was like, I have a family now. And so she left him there because he's all like happy with the, you know, playing with the kids, and he had a good life there, you know? I mean, you can't, but they did. They fully did, man. No, that would be heartbreaking. Cassian, I'm an Imperial now. Like, just blasts him right there. And that's it. That's the end. No. Oh, no, that would be terrible, man. Shatter my heart into 1,000 pieces every time. You know, I love Serenity so much. And that scene, like, that was Joss Whedon kind of giving the finger to the studio that canceled his show because he didn't want them to continue the show without him. So he killed off all of the favorite characters in the movie. I know, right? You got to give us a warning before you drop trauma like that on us, man. I wasn't ready. A good theory, since they wiped the records clean on the events and rewrote how it went down with Gold Squad. The comic is the cover story for Kate. I like it. I like what you're throwing down. And I mean, like, it's interesting too, because it's kind of been mixed results, because Andor has made an effort to respect existing canon and also to incorporate legends like Tarkin's massacre being the original Gorman massacre from Star Wars Legends. That still exists. So it's been renamed, but it's still in there. And now there's a second additional massacre, which is the Gorman massacre, which is a very respectful move, in my opinion, acknowledging how it was in Legends and trying to adopt as much of that as you possibly can. And then they turn around and they change the K2SO ending, which in my opinion is less important. Like, I'm just gonna throw that out there. That was a one-shot comic. I think that if we want to tell a new story that fits in with the ongoing, like, I think that's fine. And I also think it's fine if that's upsetting. Like, people have a right to be pissed about that, because that's somebody's favorite comic. You know, that's the thing. Every comic, every story is someone's favorite, even if it's not my favorite. So, hey, don't encourage him. All right, Roger he'll just get worse. Can't take him anywhere, man. We were talking about Bothans. We were talking about how much we want to see a Bothan spy, and people rightfully pointed out that the Bothans were involved with Death Star 2, and that also is no longer, well, I guess we haven't seen the entire process of the plans of the knowledge of Death Star 2 making its way to the rebellion, but we've seen most of it through the Crimson Reign crossover in Star Wars comics. And it was actually two of Kira's Crimson Dawn agents that were stationed on the Death Star that escaped in a Lambda shuttle and brought that knowledge firsthand to a rebel operative. That's how it started. So there was no Bothans involved in that part. But it still could be, explained as like the Bothans brought them the specific knowledge that the Emperor would be personally overseeing the final stage of the construction, because that's what Mon is saying in the moment. So maybe because like they already knew the Death Star 2 existed at that point, so that's got to be what it is, right? It's not about the discovery of the Death Star 2; it's about the knowledge that Palpatine is taking this trip out here. And as far as I know, we haven't explored that story in canon yet. So maybe that's why we still haven't seen Bothans. Either way, the longer time goes by without seeing Bothans in canon, the more suspicious I'm getting that, like, what's going on there? Like, are they saving it for some big reveal? It's been over a decade, guys. Come on. Where are the Bothans? Me either, man. Me either. And this is partly why I was like initially against the triple episode drops. I changed my mind. At this point, I think it's a great idea. I fully understand it, and I'm on board with it because I think that the story flows so much better when you can just watch a whole arc like that. But we're on week 4. We should be on week 4 of 12. Like we should have so many more Andor nights to go and all the weekly discussions. And I do feel like we're missing out on that a little bit. I'm not ready for it to end either. But next year is the 10-year anniversary of Rogue One. And if we can get a cinematic re-release, like in the theaters for that, that would be awesome. That would feel like a taste of it coming back. I know, right? That was a lot of posting, but you know what? It helped me get out of bed early, like on a regimen. And I was actually just wondering earlier today. I was like, what is the next countdown going to be? What should I be counting down to next? Like, what is the next thing approaching us? Like, I don't actually know what the next Star Wars release on the timeline is. Besides Outlaws DLC with Hondo, that's coming on the 15th. And we're also getting the final, High Republic book, I believe, in phase 4. But in terms of like shows and movies and things that generate trailers, I don't actually know what's coming next. I'd like to see Cassian forming his own spy operatives like Luthen did as he's part of Rebel intelligence. And the Bothans show up there. I mean, yeah, be acting like Fulcrum, and being in charge of cells, telling them where to go. And that would be a great place for the Bothans to show up. Honestly, I feel like Bothans would have been great to just introduce in the Star Wars Rebels series. I feel like that would have been a great place to get to know them, because then later on, years later, with the whole Return of the Jedi, like we have more significance because, oh yeah, those guys knew Ezra, But who am I? I don't have a cowboy hat. I don't make these decisions. If Maul Shadow Lord gives us our first Bothan, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will have a reaction to that for sure. That would be a very unexpected place to find him, I think. I want to see Nogri, and I know that this is very divisive, but I want to see the Yasilamari as well. I know a lot of people think it's stupid, but I think it's awesome. And that way they did like give it a subtle acknowledgement in Star Wars Rebels, the way it was part of the sculpture in the back of Thrawn's office, but I want to see a proper one curled around his shoulders. Maybe in the movie. Maybe they'll bust it out in the movie. Also, if we do see Nogri, I want them to be like purple and flat-headed and, pretty much like they were in Rebels, but closer to how they were in Star Wars Jedi Academy. Because you go to that one planet and there's Nogri running around. Like, that matched how I saw them in my head in the books, like, really closely. So I would want them to do that. Why is every comment in this hype chamber like a dagger in my heart tonight? Like, come on. Thank you. That's what I needed before going into these heartbreaking final 3 episodes, is a reminder that Star Wars Hunters has been ripped away from me on the PC. Like, oh man. I still want to know what happened there. There's definitely a story that will come out eventually when some NDAs expire, but like, it was so sudden, it was so abrupt. And very disappointing to me, too, because I thought that the PC beta test went great. I had a great time. On the Rebels timeline, season 3. Yes, season 3 or season 4. We are in season 4 at this point. We were in season 3 with episodes 7 through 9. We're now in season 4. Yeah. Oh man. In episode 9, when Mon Mothma gives her speech and the ISB operative that reports to Wolf Yularen failed to stop the broadcast, that occurred in the same week on the timeline that Callus was revealed to be a rebel spy. And he was Wolf Yularen's protege. So that's like a really bad week for Wolf Yularen, man. Like, God, your protege turns out to be a rebel, and you're like one of your main guys like messes up big time, and Mon Mothma is able to like give a speech of dissent and the whole goddamn galaxy hears it. Shut it off way too late. Like, man, he's going to be in trouble. What if the final shot is B2 Emo looking at a sunset that looks at the light we see when Cassian and Jyn are on the... And then he turns to leave, but he can't leave because his stupid little wheel legs are stuck in the sand. Because sand is coarse and rough, and it does get everywhere. Oh, man. Well, I think that if B2 Emo is there, I hope that Bix is there with him. I hope that he's not just alone, like Fry's dog from Futurama. Yeah, see, I can dish out the sadness, too. And I don't have to just take it from you guys in the comments. I can say sad stuff. Hello there. Hello there. Welcome, welcome. I think we might see him one more. Well, we will. Remember the final trailer. There's a couple shots that we haven't seen yet, and I was thinking about this, and we see him on Jeddah. There's a shot of him on Jeddah looking at that Star Destroyer above Jeddah City, and I'm pretty sure it was not like footage from the movie. I'm pretty sure it's new. So we're definitely going to get a scene of Saw going to Jeddah. There's also shots of Dedra in Luthen's gallery, which is strongly supporting that theory that Dedra's going to shoot Lufthansa. I really believe that's going to happen. But in that case, see, I also strongly believe that Luthen is going to do something. He's going to go out with a bang, and he's going to take people down with him. So if Dedra shoots him, he's probably going to like trigger an explosion or something that blows up the whole gallery, and Dedra goes too, or something like that. Because I don't see Dedra surviving this. I really don't. And I don't see Luthen surviving either. It's going to come down to some sort of like a really fast exchange like that, you know? It's going to be tense as hell, and there's going to be bangers on all sides. But I don't expect either of them to survive. Clea is an enigma. She's an absolute wild card. It's very possible. Like, she has the skills to survive this, I think. But again, unanswered questions about what her role is in Rogue One. Why wasn't she there? You know, we're getting there. We're getting there. Checking in on the hype levels. I would say my hype level would be accurately described by this clip. Yeah, that's canon. That's canon right now. I did hear him mention that during the Q&A, a reunion. See, I would have said Dedra and Luthen, but did they come face to face in season 1? They've never seen each other. Cassian and Luthen, when was the last time they were face to face? Because I guess there's been a year jump, right? But yeah, I'm not sure. Bix and B2 Emo, if a guy can dream, maybe they get a little reunion. What if it's a total curveball and it's something that we really wouldn't expect? Like Kino Loy, Melshi and someone. I'm not sure. But yeah, I would have said, but I don't think Dedra and Luthen actually met last season. Because if she'd seen him, that would have changed everything, and they would have known who they were looking for this whole time. Super stoked to see Gilroy give everyone a happy ending and not meet their demise in these last few episodes, right? Tony? Oh man, I'm huffing the hopium right there with you, man. Like, honestly, I'm sure everything's going to be fine. They're all going to get sent to this nice little farm upstate on Alderaan, where they're given lots of grass, like a field to run around in, and nothing terrible will ever happen to them again. Because that's what happens when you join the Rebel Alliance. Only good things. Yeah, that's pretty much the boat that I'm in right now too. I'm very nervous. And I keep trying to tell myself, no, it's cool. Like, you know how this ends. There's a happy ending. But is there Is there really? Like, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, the Death Star gets destroyed, but like from our perspective, characters, they don't get that far. None of them get that far. I mean, we've finally advanced far enough in the timeline that Galen Erso can be played by Felicity Jones, believably. There's the age her down just like a little bit, because like in previous arcs, she was still like a kid, like a teenager. I'm pretty sure she is spending this entire arc in that prison on Wobani, because she was there for a while. She was in that cell for a while. So I'm not sure. I would love that. That would be so cool. But I'm not sure that the timeline. I think she was locked up for like this whole year. I don't know. Maybe someone was like, I know it was written down somewhere, like a data bank entry or something. But like, how long was her sentence before she got busted out by Melshi and K2SO? I think it was like a full year. I was joking around about it on Twitter. I was saying that the final shot of Andor should be a book closing, and it's the Book of Andor, and you pan out, and it's Kino Loy sitting by the fireplace, like holding the book, and he's just like, "Fuck the Empire," and that's the way it is, and that's the end of the whole series. No, I know. And did you notice in that one episode that like they kept denying that the Alderaan shuttle's clearance? Like already they're feeling like the government reprisals too, like. The political backlash is already starting to ramp up, and now that Bale ceded the floor to Mon Mothma, like it's going to get so much worse. We're going to be filming reactions like as soon as possible. So episode drops in 20 minutes, and then the reacting will begin like about 10 minutes after that. Usually the process is we sit down, we watch all three, and then I will sit there and get everything edited, put it up on Patreon, because people on Patreon get the priority. They get the full uncut reactions right away. Then the rest of it gets sent off to Nerd Chronic. He edits the rest of it, and the following 3 days is going to be the rollout. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you'll get episodes 10, 11, and 12. That's the plan. We're almost there. We are almost there. 20 minutes from now, there will be no more new Andor coming out ever again, and that makes me kind of sad. But that feeling of sadness when it's over is absolutely worth it for the show that we've been able to watch. Like honestly, it feels like and I pay for this because I'm a consumer, I'm a customer, but it still feels like a privilege to be able to be a Star Wars fan in 2025 and watch like shows of this caliber and these kinds of stories that are so poignant and moving and like salient being told in the galaxy far, far away. Yes, but resonating with us. Like I never thought to expect that from my Star Wars or to be able to get that. And I feel like very grateful to be a Star Wars fan at this time in history. Like I really do. I'm old enough to remember the dark times and the content drought. And when like the best we had to look forward to was a goddamn dancing Han Solo game on Xbox Connect. Oh man, like these kids think they have it tough. No idea. And I know that, like to people older than me, that makes me sound young too, because before that, there was the biggest drought, which was post Return of the Jedi. Like leading up to, like there was nothing else was coming out. Yeah, one way out. There's only one way out now, and it's through Disney Plus. 3 episodes. I'm curious about the runtimes. I'm wondering if they're going to be really long. Like, hopefully, we get like an hour a piece. That would be great. The day I hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll do the Star Wars Connect Han Solo dance on a stream. But not before. I'll do it in full cosplay too. Yeah, you guys got to stop encouraging him. He's going to get a big head, and then I'm never going to hear the end of it. Roger's going to be like, yeah, got to give me a close-up now. Moving closer to the camera. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Andor, Rogue One are great, but Episode 3 is number 1. Hopefully Disney recognizes this and gives some epic lightsaber battles in the Old Republic. I would love a show set in the Old Republic, dude. Like that would be sweet. There's so many cool stories to draw from there, not just from KOTOR and KOTOR 2, but also from SWTOR. Like the storytelling there, the writing is fantastic. The Imperial Agent, for example, that story was written by Alexander Freed, who did Twilight Company and some of my favorite Star Wars books, actually. But yeah, no, that would be cool. And is there any word about the KOTOR remaster? Is that still happening? I know we got some bad news about the production stalling last year, but like they gave us like a teaser and everything. I think that if that can be successful and like the interest can be proven, then maybe we could get a show, set in that timeline. I think that would be really cool. Winter Soldier was a spy thriller in a superhero universe. Andor is a spy political thriller set in the Star Wars universe, and why it is so great. I think if like not only is it great just in its own right, but I think it also really supports the idea that like Star Wars can handle so many different genres of storytelling. They don't all have to be the same. And like there's so much, it's a lot more versatile as a setting than I think it was previously believed to be. And like people were a little bit more rigid about like it has to have this and that. It must check all these boxes or it's not Star Wars. And it's like, well, I think that Star Wars can be a little bit more like nebulous than that. And there's room for political spy thrillers as well as like Westerns and fantasies and like straight up action. Like there's room for all of it. And I think that if you want Star Wars to persist for like another 50 years, you have to be willing to let it change and develop and evolve as time goes on, because that's the only way. It's the only way it can survive and stay interesting to people too. The game project's still alive? Well, hopefully. I choose to believe. Oh my God. 15 minutes to go. Oh my gonk, you guys. I'm not ready for this. I think, yeah, I already laid out my prediction. I think Smart Money is on Luthen and Dedra coming face to face. She takes him out. Clea takes her out. Or he finds a way to take out like everyone in the area when he goes to he has like a dead man switch or something, and there's explosives like inside the pillars of every single Antiques stand or something ridiculous like that, and everything goes boom, because that would be crazy. It's his final revenge, his final act of resistance against the Empire. Hey Ronan, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, is Luthen technically the first Fulcrum agent? I know he never uses the term, but that's exactly the job that he's doing. Same level of anonymity, same like network of spies in different cells. So if Cassian does take over, that makes perfect sense to me. But we've never heard him referred to as Fulcrum. And also Fulcrum was a lot more like I don't think I understand the official alignment between Luthen and like, is he part of the Rebel Alliance or is he just a rebel? Because it feels like all of the operatives that are operating out of Yavin like don't like him and don't want to associate with him. It's kind of a Saw Gerrera situation, and yet he's also got like direct links to their high command. He's the one tasked with getting Mon Mothma over there. Like it's kind of an, oh my goodness, how did I never think of that? Are you kidding me right now? I did not put that together. Thank you for pointing that out. Well, duh. Okay, Axis and Fulcrum. That's so intentional. And that's been right in front of us since season 1. What the hell? You've just been sitting on that intel? Come on. I feel like a fool, but I'm so glad I figured that out now and not after the show is over with. Yeah, no, seriously. Okay, we got 12 minutes in. Yeah, episode 10 is promised to end on a bit of a bang, and there's going to be some surprises, and some big twists. Tony Gilroy said you absolutely do not want to have this one spoiled for you. So I do feel like they kind of say that about all of them, but at the same time, like, okay, that kind of does suggest something pretty impactful is going to happen here that we're not going to be expecting, and I can't wait to find out what that is. Mon Mothma has been one of my favorite characters since you sent us to steal the Death Star plans. Yes. Yes, a man of culture, I see. It's been great to see them flesh her out. Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. And I didn't get to ask my question in the Q&A, but what I wanted to ask Genevieve O'Reilly was how differently is the experience of portraying Mon Mothma in this show versus the way she's been portrayed previously? And Genevieve has only done her for Revenge of the Sith and then also Rogue One, but like Mon Mothma's popped up a couple different times in canon, and I feel like she's characterized very differently between them. So it's cool that we finally get this consistency of the character, and what brilliant casting, by the way. Like, she's so fantastic. What a perfect person to play this role. Same with Denise, I think her name is, that plays Dedra Miro. Like, fantastic actress. Phenomenal. It was funny in the Q&A today. She was live from like her living room, and she had this very nice like floral wallpaper. Like, it was very, very pretty in there. And I just, the first thing, it was like such an opposite of Dedra Miro's like stark, like white, barren apartment. It's like, it was like, oh wow, you're such the opposite person of your character. Like, you're so not that person, which is very refreshing to know that anybody's not a psychopath, right? But like, yeah, such a good performance from her too. Yeah, Andor is phenomenally well acted, and yeah, more of this, please. More of this, please. All right, 5:50, officially 10 minutes to go. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. My heart is already pounding just thinking about the fact that like we're going to be in for it with these 3 episodes. I don't know what to expect beyond like what I laid out there before. Like, I feel like we've already covered almost everything that I thought we would have in the show. Gorman massacres happened, Mon Mothma's escape, the Senate speech. Like, what else could there possibly be to stretch an entire year between this and Rogue One? Like, it makes me feel like it's just got to be a systematic series of everyone getting caught that wasn't in Rogue One, and I don't want to watch that. give me a couple small wins at least, like very, very much reminiscent of The Empire Strikes Back, where you just see the heroes take L after L, like the whole movie. Like, that's definitely part of the Star Wars experience, though. Watching the heroes fail a lot and get overpowered a lot too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy that you're here and that we're all here doing this together. I was thinking about it earlier, and oh, I keep punching my mic. I'm so sorry. I was thinking about it earlier, and one of the things that I love about the hype chambers so much is that it really touches on something that's traditional in Star Wars fan culture, which is getting to know each other while we're waiting in line for the next Star Wars thing to drop. You know, we've been doing that since 1977, and I feel like we get to capture that vibe a little bit in these hype sessions too. And it's cool to keep that going, because that's what Star Wars fans have been doing since 1977, and we really, you know, we crave it, we thrive on it. And this is what Star Wars fandom is all about. I was surprised. I had kind of a whiplash reaction to that, because first they just casually mentioned Tarkin's massacre and that it happened 16 years ago. And so my first thought is like, wait, it already happened? We're not going to see it? Like, or we're going to get a flashback or something? So that threw me off. And then the fact that they described it as Tarkin landing, like it was exactly like in Legends. And then realizing, oh, wait, no, we're still this place is about to blow. Like, there's going to be 2 massacres. It was just a series of revelations. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did it this way. That's great for us. But to quote Partagaz, like, bad luck Gorman, right? Now they have 2 massacres in their history. It's terrible. Something I'm very curious about is I want to, even if it's just one line of exposition, can we get something about what actually happened to the planet of Gorman? Like, did it collapse? How bad was the gouge mining? We're going to be a whole year later, so hopefully they're done with it by now, and we can at least get an answer to like what became of the planet post massacre. You know, I wasn't expecting it to like actually break apart and like float away in space, like a completely collapse, but like rendered uninhabitable. You know, the climate changes so much, like it can't sustain life anymore. Like, who knows? We're 7 minutes away. 7 minutes away. Honestly, maybe my favorite scene in The Last Jedi. And not just because it was the best iteration of Puppet Yoda we've ever gotten. It was just a great scene. It just says super sticker. I don't get to see it. Or is this not a super sticker and you're calling me a super sticker? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't believe I've ever been spoken to like that before. No, thank you though. Thank you for the sticker. Wish I could see it. StreamYard. Oh, I'm sure there'll be some crazy spin about what, but like I'm curious just what actually is what it's going to look like. You know, I just want to see it. Is it just space rebel? Is there actually a planetoid still there? Like, what's the deal? I don't even know if we could. I'm pretty sure it might even already be by someone else. And every time we say it, we're in violation. That's what I would discover if I went that route. Sometimes it's better not to know, you know. Nice. Nice. That's some street cred around these parts. Being there for when it all started. Minds were blown that day. Henry, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking like it's not going to be quite Alderaan level because Alderaan was supposed to be the first of its kind on that level of destruction. Well, in living memory, obviously, like, you know, Nihilus, like all the stuff with Ziost, all like it's happened before in galactic history, but in the history of everyone alive in this moment in time, it's never been done until Alderaan. Very true. You know what? That's very true. This is actually not the answer is not going to be what you expect, and somehow even weirder. So I met Bendu. We were both teenagers at a parkour meetup. We were both doing parkour. Yeah, and I won't elaborate any further. I'll save that for a podcast someday. Yeah, you weren't expecting that, were you? Oh my God, 4 minutes. I can't even function right now. I'm a bundle of nerves. I'm worried for all of my favorite new supporting characters. Like, they've done such a good job of making, like, fleshing out these characters and making us connect with them, and now they're just gonna rip them away. Like, I want it, but I don't want it, you know. No comment. This is where the fun begins. Absolutely. You know what? It was hardcore parkour. Thank you very much. It was very hardcore. Oh no. I feel like Bendu's going to be mad at me for revealing that. I don't know how he feels about his past as a tracer, as it's called. Oh my goodness, that'd be terrible, right? What if he dies early and they just announce that they're changing everything in the timeline from here on out? Oh my God. Pull a Star Trek. I guess that's what that is. I have two. I absolutely have two. And because I will say that there's like a little bit of pressure on me when I watch it to like, we got to get through these episodes, get it done, get the editing, like, because I'm putting out reaction videos, and I'm very much looking forward to, like, once it's all done, just sort of sitting on the couch and watching them like at my leisure at a slower pace and like really digesting them. I'm really looking forward to being able to do that from start to finish. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, for people that have joined since, Bendu and I will be reacting to Rogue One, and that's going to be coming out the week after the finale. So you can stay tuned for that reaction. Really looking forward to seeing it and seeing how the context of this show like changes the experience of watching that. Cassian needs a brick. Dude, Brasso needs a brick. He got buried on Mina Rao. Poor dude. Should get an honorary brick next to Cassian's. I agree. Maybe we'll get like a post-credit scene of Bix doing that because she's also from Ferrix. Like I was saying, if she doesn't show up, She's golden. She's safe. She survived. If she shows back up in these 3 episodes, I'm immediately going to be nervous. Like, I really want her to survive the show. I want some sliver of Cassian to go on living. Like, he can stay alive in the memory of, in like her memory, you know? But if she also is gone, like, there's no trace of Cassian left in the galaxy. Oh my God, it's time. What a dark, somber thought to end the. How appropriate for Andor, though. Seriously, though. Oh my goodness. I can't wait, guys. It's time to do this. I'll see you on the other side. Next time we all talk to each other, there'll be no more Andor coming out. Let's enjoy it while it lasts. Savor this show. All right, it's time to do this. Andor time. May the Force be with you.
I came with you to be part of something. The Empire cannot win. It's a different kind of mission. If it goes up in flames, it will burn very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win. We have to. We must stand together. We will be crushed.
Resistance is absurd.
It's a weapon.
They're building a weapon.
The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the saying. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
There's a future here for those who dare.
Welcome to the rebellion.